starting your day off with your favorite corny quote, right? I got you right now. The man who is swimming against the stream knows the strength of it. The Cody's Corner. I've kind of liked the fact that it's kind of refrained away from something that really gets you going, and now it's kind of just something that makes you think twice about life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're always thinking.
Ready? My favorite, David likes when I say athlete quotes. My favorite athlete, Woodrow Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's the guy that invented the tennis ball, right?
Wait, what?
I couldn't tell you what Woodrow Wilson did.
I'm gonna tell you what Woodrow Wilson invented right now.
He was there.
Who's Woodrow Wilson?
He was there. He was Woodrow's right-hand man.
Do you hear the Woodrow Wilson on the keyboard, though? Let's see it.
I'll tell you exactly.
He was an American politician.
No, I knew that. Their school's named after him.
I was playing the tennis ball. I'm trying to Wilson. It's like on a Wilson.
I'm gonna look up my man's accomplishments over here.
While he's accomplishing that, oh my God! Hello, everybody, and welcome officially to Cody's Corner. Cody's week by week hot takes on who's gonna get the W in all the sports you're looking for. Today, as we record, it is March 23rd. Want to start the show off, Filmy, introducing, as always, the guy to my right. I got Petey here with me.
What's up? What's up?
I got Mr. Accomplishing Woodrow Wilson facts behind me, David, in the chair.
He didn't invent a damn thing.
I was playing, bro. David, come on.
Not a thing.
Is he overrated?
Woodrow Wilson?
Is Woodrow Wilson overrated?
I don't know. I'm actually going through his I'm going through his policies on racism, so I'll let you know in a few.
Oh, right.
If they're agreeable, I'll let you know.
He's going down his list. He's like,
this was also 1913.
Yeah, well.
Oh my God! So he's no longer with us then, Woodrow Wilson.
You can't assume so.
All right. Well, I want to say this. I wanted to air this out on air.
Born in 1856.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. He's one of them ones.
I mean, look. You could kind of. His name was Woodrow.
That's a tough name.
That is actually kind of a Woodrow.
Woodrow?
I wasn't gonna say tough. I was gonna say, it's
different.
It's a generational name.
Are you gonna mess with a Woodrow?
I wouldn't.
The only Woodrow I ever have heard of is from Zach and Cody. There was the guy named Woody, and his real name was Woodrow.
They probably called him Woody.
It sounds like a football name too. It sounds like a D tackle.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Johnson.
No, not even Woodrow Wilson. That name itself.
Yeah.
What they go? They go like Mississippi State.
Yeah. Ball Hard University.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson, Oklahoma. But I wanted to say this. You guys are so distracting on this Saturday morning. I wanted to say that we're switching up the day that we drop episodes from here on moving forward. Important for the people to know. You get what I'm saying? We're going to switch it. Before we were dropping episodes on Sundays. Now, as we prepare to give you guys the video that you guys have been craving, we're going to drop the audio on Tuesday so you can still find the podcast audio only. That means Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You got us on Google Podcasts, Amazon, your local, anywhere you're looking for us, we're there on Tuesdays. Then the video on YouTube will come out on Wednesdays within the next 2 weeks. So, excited about that. All the back and forth, we want to just make sure that you guys got something to listen to during the week. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're going to be watching a Woodrow Wilson documentary.
Are they really, though?
I will.
But is that a name that,
I also will, too.
Is that a name that, you respect it? Or, is it, a menacing name? Oh, my God.
I think it's a respectable name.
Woodrow.
If there's schools named after him, I think it's a good sign.
I'm sure he's a good guy. They're not just... Well, you know what?
That's also...
that's debatable, too.
There's a lot of schools named Columbus.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that's debatable, too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And Martin Luther, and let's not even get about that guy.
Yeah, so...
I'm black and everything.
You know what? Let's just watch it ourselves.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
So, David, I heard that you had some news for us this morning.
Yeah, man. A lot of stuff is going on around the league right now. Football in particular, got a little news for you guys. Have you heard about this new kickoff format that's going on?
Vaguely.
Vaguely.
Vaguely. I would love for you to tell me more about it.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, here we go. So, I'm just going to break it down with this kickoff scenario. Under the committee's proposal would have the following rules, all right?
Right.
So, we spoke about it a little bit before the show, on the pre-show, but there is a landing zone. The landing zone is the area between the receiving team's goal line and its 20-yard line. Landing here would prompt action of the kickoff if the ball were to land there. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Hold on. There's more.
Oh, but wait.
But wait, there's more. There's actually a little bit to this rule, so stay with me. Kickoffs would remain at the 35-yard line, but the remaining 10 players of the kicking unit would line up at the opposing team's 40-yard line. The receiving team would line up at the least 7 players in the setup zone, a 5-yard between their own 35 and 30-yard lines, and a maximum of 2 returners are permitted to line up in the landing zone.
Well, look, man, I don't know if you guys had followed the XFL when it was actively a thing, like about 4 to 5 years ago. But that was how it was then, and I remember when it first came out that people were like, "Oh, controversial new kickoff. Is it gonna work? Is it not?" And honestly, I enjoyed it. I understand why people wanna transition to this style of kickoff, because at the end of the day, they're trying to prevent injuries. You know, either way you look at it, it's less motion because the ball has more of a chance to move before people get a chance to react. I like it.
So real quick, so these are the actual rules. Now that you know the parameters, so this is what it is. Kickoffs that hit the landing zone must be returned. Kickoffs that hit the landing zone and then go into the end zone must be returned or downed by the receiving team. If downed, the receiving team would get the ball at its own 20-yard line.
Wait, let me interrupt you. You said balls that are kicked into the end zone?
Yeah,
kickoffs,
so say it rolls into the end zone.
So
and
kickoffs.
Do they have to return it, or couldn't they take a knee?
They must be returned or downed by the receiving team.
That's what he's saying, Petey. So if he takes a knee, then they go to the 20.
Got it. I didn't hear that
Yes.
part.
If down, the receiving team would get the ball at its own 20-yard line. Kickoffs that go into the end zone and stay in bounds that are down would give the receiving team the ball at their own 35-yard line. Kickoffs that go out of the back of the end zone would also be a touchback at the receiving team's 35-yard line. Kickoffs short of the landing zone would be treated like a kickoff out of bounds, and the receiving team would get the ball at its own 40-yard line. Sheesh.
I like it. Let's see.
I mean, it's gonna make for a lot less injury.
Yeah.
Just a lot less motion. Really full speed running into each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting right there. It's just gonna be a lot more pushing. I wonder how it's gonna impact returning. I don't know enough about when it was in the XFL or if it's in the UFL.
They're least concerned as far as changing or updating the game is their special teams. I think that they're most willing to alter this part of the game.
I mean,
if it does anything to save injury.
Especially if pushing up the kick in the past couple of years, it's been mostly just touchbacks.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think this is a good fit.
To be honest, it makes sense. There's always going to be people, especially in sports, that are going to not want anything to change. You know what I mean?
The purists.
Well, back when I was young, everybody was doing it and you can't really have that mindset, especially if you want longevity in the sport. Because any sport, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, golf, not really golf, but it's one of those things where injuries, I think David's brought this up in the past actually. Injuries are inevitable in sports. So, yes, that doesn't mean that things should be changed to ruin the nature of the game, but at the same time, if you can tweak and it stretches out the lifetime of the sport in general, I say why not?
I think this is a good rule. It's gonna kind of help save yourself from an injury in this position. And I know that's something to looking for, and it's going to bring us to the next topic, huh, Cody?
That's true.
Reducing injuries?
Yep, that's very, very true. So, look, as we all know, I believe they announced it within the last 3 days or so, the NFL officials have proposed a hip drop tackle rule change. I don't know if you heard anything about this.
So real quick, I'm sorry for the people. Let me just, unless you want to,
Go ahead.
I want to give, because people may not know what a hip drop tackle is.
Right.
I've got the competition committee's exact definition here.
Okay.
If the defender grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. That's what a hip drop tackle is.
Yeah.
So
we just talked about it off mic, but a quote unquote form tackle is when you go, chest to chest with someone. You kind of like carry your weight below them and push them up, lift them, while your body is carrying your motion with them. You're not necessarily hitting them, you're like moving them, so to say. So, Petey, I know that you were off mic earlier a little confused as to, well, you can't really be in that position all the time to tackle.
Yeah, I think something had to be done about the hip drop. I think it was a lot of players getting injured because of it, so I think it's a really good rule to put in place now, kind of reduce those injuries. Now, I think it's going to be tough for a lot of these players to learn a proper way to tackle in a position where they're next to a player,
right,
behind a player, because you can't go with that perfect form, so you usually go lower. And then this happens as a result. So they're going to have to learn how cleanly to tackle someone and not get penalized, because now it's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Especially that it's going on right now, and there's not really a chance for these players to unlearn how to tackle in their sport that they've been playing all their lives.
Yeah.
It's just going to become heavily penalized by refs.
Yeah, more
things.
flags.
So, but what if I told you this? Apparently, removal or penalization of a hip drop tackle can save up to 25 times the amount of injuries.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I think we're still going to see it once in a while. I'm sure there's going to be instances where a player's breaking open and then a tackler's like, this is the only way I can get him down right now.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do it, I guess, and then you get penalized, but you're like, I saved a touchdown. I don't know.
The penalty for it's gonna be 15 yards and an automatic first down. By the way.
Which is interesting because even like without reading the rest of this article from ESPN, I already know that this is gonna affect quarterbacks instantaneously. Like these quarterbacks that were. Wait, do you think that they made this rule because of Aaron Rodgers?
No.
He was the last prominent player to get hurt.
There was somebody else mid-season.
Tell me not. Isn't that how he went down?
That's pretty much how he went down.
Come on, bro.
Was it? I think he just was running away from a tackle when he just tore his Achilles.
And they grabbed him.
Yeah, they grabbed. Yeah, spun down and basically
spun down. And they tore his shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my French, but the truth is that they're trying to save the QBs, man.
On the receivers, the running backs.
They saw how all these backup quarterbacks are running the show because of injury last year, and they were like, look, we need to get the people that we paid on the field today, or we're wasting assets. Is it for the goodness of the player, or is it a business move? Is the real question.
A little bit of both.
Are they worried about the
definitely
people
a little bit of
or
both.
the paper?
A lot of bit of both.
Yeah. Probably more so the paper.
I was going to say it's probably 60-40 paper.
Yeah.
Or maybe 70-30.
I mean, who put it into motion? The NFL or the Players Association?
The NFL officials. So
okay.
the NFL,
yeah.
It's not the PA.
The competition committee.
There you go.
Yeah. But there's been protests about it. So people are on the fence about it. Oh, that's the nature of the sport. As we said with the kickoff rules and everything else going on.
The way I look at it is you, as a professional athlete, especially with the sport growing, and I mean, NFL doesn't need to grow in popularity. It's already extremely popular. But I'm just saying, like, with, the coming times and everything like that, us advancing, like, you're going to adjust. And as a professional athlete, you should be able to do so. They did in basketball when they changed the defensive rules, and you know what I mean? Like, there's not as many, I guess you could say, but there's still top-notch defenders in the league with that rule change. So it's still possible. So with that being said, if it helps and it really reduces that much, I think that eventually people will get behind it once they see that their favorite players aren't getting as hurt as much, or whatever the case may be. It'll happen. People always they always reject change.
Well, we'll be playing flag football in 50 years in the NFL.
They're gonna like dink pads together. So but real quick, because as I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but this is the quarterback rundown episode.
This is.
Just so the people know. They'll see it in the title when they click whatever, feel me? But as we look at it right now, we're about to go into this quarterback list. But before we hop into that, I think it's important to say that I think it's interesting that David agrees that people are going to have to adhere to change when it comes to the sport. Because I remember us having a similar conversation not too long ago about how the defensive rules for basketball changed a long time ago.
Yeah.
As far as like keeping your hand in that one position, what have you, like how do you
hand checking?
Hand checking. This is kind of like, I mean, they're two different sports entirely, right? But this does change how the player on offense is defended.
I think we're gonna see at least one instance where a player's gonna go for a tackle, and it's gonna be awkward.
Like mentally check himself.
Like maybe like it would be a situation where he would normally go for the hip drop, and then he's gonna be like, I can't do that anymore. So it's gonna be an awkward attempt, and then the guy will just break open. You know.
Ray Lewis couldn't be in the NFL today.
No. Well, he was just killing people.
Right. Correct.
I don't think he cared.
But on that note, speaking of killing quarterbacks, some quarterbacks coming up either made it to their payday, some made it to the grave. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really want to go through this list with you.
Let's do it.
Number
You're
one.
gonna start with the big fish.
You got to start with the big. Should we go backwards like the way we went backwards?
No, we'll start with the big fish.
I think we got to start with the big fish. Kirk Cousins.
He did the
4
thing.
year, $180 million to the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow. With a little bit of tampering involved.
Oof, that we don't know about. However, I wanted to say this. It's true that they were trying to figure out if he was going to wear number 8. He's talking to Kyle Pitts, I believe. And then
He gave up the number.
He didn't give up the number.
He did.
Kirk Cousins is wearing 18 now.
Oh. I saw Pitts was going to give it up.
He was going to give it up. They asked him, what would you do to give up number 8?
So just throw me the ball.
He was like, yo, I just want targets every game. Just throw me the
So
ball every game.
So does him not getting the number mean he's not getting targeted?
It's kind of like a FU to Kyle Pitts. Like, yeah, I'll wear 18. It's fine.
You're not getting thrown the ball.
Listen, I don't know. I think that he's a good fit for the team, as we already know. But the truth is he worth $180 million?
Absolutely not. My man has more career earnings than Tom Brady.
That's
I mean,
fact.
but like that's just we're in
fact.
that timeline.
Yeah, I get it.
Contracts
but like,
get more and more expensive.
He has how many playoff wins? One.
Yeah.
100 million guaranteed.
I don't know what Kirk Cousins he must have like a ridiculous amount of intangibles or something like that keeps him getting these huge paydays because
he's a good quarterback. He is.
I'm not saying he's bad. Well, clearly he's not a bad quarterback.
Bad.
But like one playoff win. So and he's gotten to the playoffs with multiple teams on multiple occasions, multiple seasons. So it's like you got one though.
To be fair, I think that him in the last 2 years on the Vikings was the only team I've seen him with that could win a playoff game.
And then we're also talking in an era where we have the Bills that were the Chiefs.
But you know what? Like,
we have so many other teams
even
that are.
The fact that he was on the Commanders were so trash. Well, back when they were the Redskins, right? Because he was there when it was the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
That team was garbage, dude.
Who's better, Kirk or Dak?
Man, Dak's another one that can't win a playoff game.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
That's a good question.
How much is Dak getting paid?
Cowboy money.
Jerry Jones money.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say Kirk is better.
I'm gonna say Dak's better. Dak is,
I would say Dak is better
Dak,
too.
like
I would say Dak
had
more better players.
He
on
more
the team.
consistently gets himself in MVP conversations than Kirk does.
He's also on a Cowboy though.
Yeah, but
I feel like the Cowboys are one of those teams that you need to put someone on their team in the conversation, and they aspire to have players that you put in that conversation, like Dak. If he was on another team, you wouldn't be giving him that much love.
Dak Prescott, sorry to interrupt you, actually reworked his contract.
oh, nice of him.
To open salary cap.
Look at that.
There you go.
I don't know, but I can't. I don't want to bring too much about how good the Cowboys are compared to these,
Falcons.
because this is his choice. Kirk chose to go to Atlanta.
That is kind of crazy that he made more money than Tom Brady, though.
I mean, but Brady played.
Well,
in
Tom
his
Brady
prime
was also
was a decade ago.
Tom Brady also was known to take less money too.
Yeah.
His prime was not a decade ago. He won a Super Bowl
Well, that was at the end.
within the last 4 years.
That was at the end of his prime.
You just said a decade.
But I'm saying when he signed his last contract, I'm assuming was a decade ago.
Well, his last contract was with Tampa
But that
Bay.
wasn't in his prime. I'm saying in his prime, signed a contract.
Tom Brady shot up, and his talent never went down until the year he retired because he was supposed to
understand.
retire the year before. Respectfully,
But I'm gonna look up Tom Brady.
I mean, look, that's the wrong quarterback. But I'm glad that you're bringing him up because I would love to compare this. Talking about another New England quarterback.
Well, how do you think this affects the Vikings?
What? How do we think? What? How do I think it's gonna affect the Vikings? To be honest, bro, I think that the Vikings have to draft a QB coming up because if not, their last hope.
They don't have a great pick.
Well, then they're relying on Sam Darnold, like I told you.
Ugh. Yeah, we're not seeing them in the playoffs anymore.
Sam Darnold, the man that David so wholeheartedly mentioned in the same conversation as Tom Brady and Russell Wilson.
Trade Justin Jefferson.
They might as well name Sam Darnold Woodrow or Mason or how big is your CBS? We need a little giggle out of David. He was falling asleep right there.
Yeah.
But
The Vikings have the 11th pick, so
it's not low, and there's a heavy QB draft.
It's a heavy one, but a lot of teams are looking for one too. So who's gonna fall there?
They traded for Josh Dobbs, no?
No, Josh Dobbs went to
got
San
Josh
Fran.
Dobbs. Oh, they traded Josh Dobbs, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it was for the first overall.
No,
pick.
but it wasn't
Or
a
first.
trade though. It was a because he wasn't still signed to them. I'm pretty sure. To be honest, man, I don't know what Minnesota is doing in general. I feel as though what probably happened, if you ask me, is that Kirk Cousins probably asked for this wild amount of money, right? Knowing that undoubtedly he was the best free agent in this market. They didn't want to give it to him because they probably want to pay Justin Jefferson so he doesn't leave. And he said, all right, I'm out of here. That's probably what happened.
It doesn't seem like the Vikings are too worried, honestly. The Vikings
They should be.
The Minnesota Vikings are posturing to trade up in the draft and land a quarterback in the top 5 picks. But if it doesn't work out, the backup plan for 2024 will include Sam Darnold. That's it.
Ugh.
Well,
They're willing to use
I can see them
they're willing to
trading up.
use the number 11 overall pick to draft Texas defensive tackle Brian Murphy
There you
after
go.
meeting with him this week at Texas Pro Day. So I guess if they can't draft up, they're good with Sam Darnold.
They're not going to be good with Sam Darnold.
Well, I'm telling you,
they won't be good.
I'm telling you how they feel. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so
They can feel however they want. I think.
So, do you think? Let me ask you this, then, Petey. Look, I'm not a Sam Darnold guy. You already know.
maybe this guy thinks. Sorry again. Maybe this guy. What's his
You're
name
not
again?
Sorry.
I'm not. So what's the? Maybe the head coach feels like he can do something with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
With-
I
with
can
Kirk
change
Cousins.
him. I
With
can
Kirk, no,
change
I'm
him.
saying, but with Kirk Cousins under his offense, right? Kirk Cousins had his best statistical years.
No,
and
but
all
Kirk
that good
Cousins
stuff.
was good before the Vikings.
All right.
Is he 180 million good?
No, that's up for debate.
If you ask me, right?
I don't think anybody in the world
you
is
gotta have
180
enough,
million.
You gotta have enough faith as a coach to say, okay, I can let go of the number 1 free agent in the quarterback market, and still be successful with good old Sam.
No, you can't.
For some reason, teams believe in him though.
I don't know.
That's how he got a starting job as a Jet. That's how he got a starting job in Carolina. That's how he ended up on the Super Bowl team last year.
He didn't do anything.
He was on the team. He has a ring. You
cares?
don't, Petey. That's all I'm
They
saying.
didn't win.
He could have got a ring.
Yeah, I was
have a
gonna say, what ring does he
could
have?
got a ring.
He didn't.
I misspoke.
Doesn't have a ring.
He was at the bowl.
He did nothing. He played
Sam
quarter.
Darnold was a promising prospect, man.
So was Zach Wilson.
I know.
There's so many promising
I don't
prospects.
want to look. Promising prospect makes me.
Adam Gase ruined him.
Adam Gase is probably the worst coach that the Jets have ever had.
Yeah.
However, Sam Darnold came from USC, and you knew that he was a good passing quarterback, but he threw a lot of picks as well. It was very similar to like Jameis Winston when he threw the most touchdowns and the most picks in the same year. He was known to do that. So he did so in New York. I don't want to go too much into the trauma that terrible man has caused me over my longevity as a Jets fan, because in between him having mono and seeing ghosts, and his first pass as a New York Jet was a pick six in Detroit, I
See, you're gonna say all that and still have faith that he can be a playoff caliber quarterback?
I don't know what it is that teams see in this
Me
guy.
neither.
But they see something, obviously.
The Darnold.
Oh,
All right, I'm tired of talking about this guy. Who's the next one? Let's talk about a real quarterback that came back.
let's
Oh,
go. Okay,
man.
let's talk about it. We got.
Oh, you're
number two.
You're on a different sheet than me.
Oh, who's your number two?
The number two, the actual number two of the free agent market.
To be honest,
Is Baker.
yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with you. I was looking at a list. We're not on CBS Sports
That's
today.
why it's off.
That's why it's off. I'm looking at NFL. We'll go into yours though.
Are we
two,
not all looking at the doc?
I'm looking at NFL.com. I looked at a different list than everybody.
The doc is right in front of me.
Yeah, well, he's looking at PFF, or as the kids call it.
Can you believe this, guys? Audience, we're all looking at a different list here.
The
Ridiculous.
truth is that I can't read. I just look at shiny pictures on my computer.
Here
so.
we go. All right.
All right,
Anyway,
well,
Baker Mayfield.
I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
We spoke about Baker a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and
yeah.
I said he was gonna get paid.
Who's your guy?
I said he was
Who's your
gonna
boy?
make north of $70 million, and you guys looked at me like I was crazy.
yeah, we did.
Did
Tell me how much he made.
100 mil.
3-year.
100.
100 million.
I said 370.
Yeah.
Made 100.
Yeah.
I should have bet that on the guarantee.
Who
had
is he?
40
Who is he,
million
Pity?
guarantee.
Who is he?
They don't call him Baker Moneymaker for nothing.
There you go.
He's gonna bring in the dough.
He was like, cha-ching.
He performed in a contract year like no other,
Yeah.
Listen,
and that team loves him.
he was the best one-year player that we've seen in a long time.
If Sam
Someone that
Darnold
really
can
was-
do that,
Which
I doubt,
He's not Baker Mayfield. I'm not gonna lie to you. When they were both at their lowest, I think Baker Mayfield got worse than where he
Yeah.
was when Sam Darnold was playing on the
Yeah.
Jets. Like when he started, like that was back when like Baker was on the Browns, when he had Odell on the team and Jarvis Landry on the team. That was the worst Baker Mayfield I've ever seen. That year, Sam Darnold was making some things happen at the end of the season, like him and Robbie Anderson kind of had like a receiver quarterback combo. You know, the boy on the back of my chair, whatever, my chosen Anderson jersey. But
he went to the Rams, kind of revived his career a little bit as a
Yeah.
backup. He played,
Yeah.
and he was there like, oh, this guy is like, he has something in him.
Baker had actually lost his starting position to Sam Darnold in Carolina,
Unbelievable.
which is wild
Unbelievable.
when to think about it that way. But enough of this bum is ringing in the back of all of our ears.
All
Like,
these
why are we
people,
talking so
all these
heavy about
people
Sam
that
Darnold? We don't
see,
need to.
they see something in Sam Darnold. They didn't see it in Baker.
So, no, obviously now someone sees
So-
something in
so-
Baker.
Maybe his eyes glisten.
So, question for you,
Definitely.
Petey. So now that they re-signed Baker,
Yeah.
right? How far do you think the Bucks can go?
Realistically,
Yeah.
at best, third round in the playoffs, second round,
Do they
second
get-
round.
Third round sounds crazy.
Yeah, they don't make it to the Super Bowl.
Who did they lose to in the playoffs this year? Green Bay? I believe it was.
Detroit,
They beat Philly.
Detroit, right?
Detroit.
Those Lions. Lions beat them.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Lions beat
Yeah.
them. Yeah, because that's how they got eliminated.
Yeah.
Do you see them beating Detroit?
Yeah, they could beat
in
the,
the same
they could
scenario?
yeah, they could beat them. That's a winnable game for them. But I think the trouble is going to be when they play a Kansas City, a team like that, or like just a higher caliber team. I think you're gonna struggle a little bit until you make other moves. Because we're talking about Kirk and Baker, right?
We're not talking about this.
Well, we're talking about Sam Darnold and Baker.
Okay.
So which team? Let's say you take away the QBs,
Okay.
Vikings,
Forget 'em.
Tampa Bay. Which one would you say is a better team? No
You
QB.
said
No QB
you said
involved.
who are Tampa Bay? Minnesota?
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay's a better team.
You think's better than Minnesota?
I do.
I'm
I
gonna
think
say-
they have
You
a
have
better
you have
de-
an elite tight end.
they
You
have a
an
better-
elite
Yeah,
receiver.
I'm gonna
okay.
say Minnesota,
and
dude.
I think you don't think Tampa Bay's defense is better?
They are better.
Their defense
All right,
is
so the
better.
defense is better. You got Mike Evans that came back. Godwin's still there.
Godwin's still there.
All right,
You have a good
so-
running back.
All right, you got a good
Your
running back.
boy, your boy, Cade Alton.
Oh, he's nothing special.
But I'm just saying. So already, I'm
look.
taking the Buc. I think the Buccaneers are a better team.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you.
More well-rounded, maybe.
But not by a lot.
no, not by a lot.
not by a lot.
No, not by a lot.
I'm gonna say I like Minnesota's
Offensive
players.
weapons.
So what's your question then, Petey?
I don't know. I forgot what I was going with.
Were
Yeah.
you gonna say? Were you gonna say who would be better on
If
what
Baker,
team?
I was
you
gonna
switch
say
teams?
if I was like if Baker can take Tampa to the playoffs,
If they switch
he
teams,
would be
Baker
able to
make people
take.
go stupid in Minnesota.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he would take Minnesota to the playoffs.
Because then he'd have Justin Jefferson. You got the guy that carried for Justin Jefferson last year, Jordan Addison, which is no one to play around with. You got T.J. Hawkinson, and now you got Aaron Jones in your backfield.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a great
Come on,
offense.
bro.
Yeah, it's
That's
a really
a
good,
good
offense.
team.
Man,
That's
get a
squad.
quarterback. What are we doing?
And then they were like, Sam Darnold.
Unbelievable.
Yo, Sam's gonna go
But
out
that's
there and
the
he's gonna
recipe
ball
now,
out.
bro. That's
He's
the
gonna ball out.
recipe. All the teams have figured this out.
Listen
you
to
can
the
have
tape.
a bum at quarterback
No.
and be
I don't
successful.
want to hear that because that hasn't worked. That hasn't worked.
What do you mean it hasn't worked?
Who? Who's that worked for? Don't say San Fran.
Detroit is working for Detroit.
Golf's not a bum.
Okay, I'm not saying all right.
Sam
When I say
Darnold.
a bum, I don't mean like.
You're not gonna make the playoffs
All
with a
I
Sam
mean by
Darnold.
that is when I say bum, obviously when I'm talking about playoff caliber, like
Golf
go to the bowl,
and no, but golf.
What I'm saying,
You
is
just need an
that
all right quarterback.
you
All
need
right,
an
all
all
right. You know
quarterback.
what? I feel like making a wager right here, live.
Yeah.
Petey, what are the Vikings if Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback when the season starts for the Vikings? What's their record, and do they make it to the playoffs?
They're not making the playoffs.
All right, I say they do.
You're crazy.
All right,
That's a hard division.
I
bro.
say they do.
That's a hard division
I say they do.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
because he has to get past Detroit. No, yeah,
I say they do.
Sam Darnold needs to get past Detroit,
Yep.
Chicago,
Yep,
and Green Bay.
yep.
They're finishing last.
Not last. You're out of your mind. I think Chicago is gonna.
No,
I still
Chicago's a
think
nice team.
I still think Chicago's gonna finish last though.
I don't think so.
All right.
They finished what? Third?
Listen, man.
Barely?
It was said
we're
here.
gonna-
It was
we're gonna
said
get to
here.
Chicago when we talk about another guy that kind of like buried his career, but we'll cross that bridge when we
Anyway,
get
I just
there.
want to tell you my prediction.
Please do.
They're gonna be.
Are you looking at like their schedule for next year?
No, I don't even need to. They have Sam Darnold. They're gonna be 6-11.
Oh. All right. So would it help you? All right. Now
6-11.
No.
They
you
were
got me
they were
intrigued, right?
they were
'Cause
7-10 last year.
I'm not gonna
7
lie
and
to
10 last year.
you. Look, it's not. It's a family show, right? I love when you become an asshole on the show because it makes me want to talk about exactly what it is. So I'd love to look up Minnesota's
Yeah.
schedule.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I want to
let's
go
do
game
that
by
right
game,
now.
and I'll tell you who they're gonna
Yeah,
win.
no,
and lose.
let's go. Let's
it's
do it.
happening.
Let's
Oh,
do
it's
it.
happening.
Let's do it. Let's
Are the
do it.
schedules even
Oh,
out for next?
Press enter. Yeah, they're out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people.
What is this?
This is what we want. This is what.
I'm gonna look up.
This
Nah,
is
it's
what
right
this show was about.
Yeah, what is this? Yeah, nah, let's go.
This is what it's about.
Because you want to get excited, right?
You know what I mean?
About
Get the blood
Sam
boiling.
Darnold. All right, here we go.
Who's
here we
getting
go.
excited about Sam Darnold?
You.
No, I don't get excited about that man.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Week 1. Oh
Mhm.
no, this was last year, 2024.
The Darnold. I'm telling you, he's gonna make it to the playoffs.
It's a sorry broken link. What is this? Not even Minnesota knows Minnesota's schedule for next year. Did this schedule?
I don't think it's out yet.
Is it out yet?
See,
No.
I told you.
All right, I'm gonna put it like this.
It usually comes out early though.
They're probably gonna throw 18 games on
Probably
the
after
schedule
the
next
draft.
year.
Oh, that's right. They're still discussing
Right?
that.
So they're still discussing that. Let's say they go at 18, right? I'm gonna say
That's not gonna. Oh, wait, hold on. Just to clarify, that's not gonna. They're discussing that, but that's not something that's gonna like,
Happen next year.
Yeah, they're not
it's
gonna
be
vote
for
on that.
2025.
Yeah, that's not gonna be
Okay, so
voted
they're,
on.
they're
for
still
this
at
year.
17 coming into September,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna say they're just under 500. They have 8 wins next year.
What if I go? They don't get 8 wins. You're crazy.
8 and 9.
Nuts.
That's not that bad.
Nuts.
Considering that they have to play their division twice, which is already takes up
2 losses.
6 of their games. Yeah,
I don't see it.
they beat Chicago twice.
I'm gonna go. It's gonna be different. I'm gonna go based off their last year schedule. It's gonna be different this year, obviously. But
That's the thing. It's kind of hard to evaluate
tough.
because you don't know where
Yeah.
the chemistry is gonna be at for all these teams with all these different players in different places. Like any team right now could look popping on paper, but it might just crumble when you get to see it.
this is
Unfortunately.
you're also this is a team where if any of those Vikings players get hurt, you're cooked.
Ooh.
You're
That's a
cooked.
fact.
If
That's a fact.
if Jefferson's out, who's been injury prone, you're done. If Aaron Jones goes down, which he has, you're done.
Facts.
Hawkinson,
Hawkinson gets hurt.
Yeah.
done.
Damn.
They're not.
Oh my
They're
God.
not gonna win north of 7 games.
Oh, North gave me a little direction.
They're not gonna
there.
win more than 7 games.
Is that because they're the NFC North?
No.
Oh my God, Petey, you are a criminal mastermind. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm more so excited
All right.
to see anybody.
Baker's
else in the division.
him. We're not talking about Sam Darnold. He
We're
signed
not.
with Minnesota. We know that.
He said, "Why not?"
Next.
I want to talk about the quarterback that I always respected in the NFL, and I'm upset that he went to this team. Jacoby Brissett signed with the New England Patriots on a 1-year, $8 million.
What list do
deal.
you want?
And
I got Jacoby Brissett at 6.
I called
I'm on
it
an
too.
NFL. Can I get?
We'll
Can I
let-
go through the
We'll
list?
let you rock.
Can
We'll
I
let you
go
rock.
through my list, please?
All right, I'll just follow.
Actually,
along.
you're not on number 3. You're on number 2. If you can refer to the document, I think that would be lovely. Thank you for your report.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say having him as number 2 over Baker is crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I think that Robert Kraft probably made this list.
Well, look, I called it. Unfortunately, when we made that prediction episode, I
did.
said he was going to the
And
Patriots.
you make me mad because now what's going to happen is whenever you think something's going to happen I don't enjoy, you're just not going to be allowed to say it.
I'm still going to say it.
You're just so damn accurate that it doesn't give any wiggle room for thought because you just know so much about sports, Petey.
Well, look, I know we're not going to spend a lot of time on these next couple quarterbacks.
Right.
I do want to say this:
Huh.
Jacoby Brissett, a great move. I know how much you love him. I think he's a great vet to have in a backfield,
Way
especially
better than Mac Jones.
even if he's just a backup. I think that's like a guy you'd want as your backup. Now let me say this: the Patriots should have went out and traded for Fields.
I agree.
For
But-
Fields costing as much as he did,
I also
why
agree.
don't you make that
but
trade?
Let's talk about Fields
also
when we
agree.
get to Fields. 'Cause
I'm just saying
to
no,
be
but I'm
honest
talking about the
with you,
Patriots right now.
We can talk about the Patriots, but the truth is that they needed someone, and Jacoby Brissett at 31 is not a bad move.
He's not, but
He's not.
I think Fields is a better option as your starter, and they could have had that. So I'm assuming they have draft plans. So maybe we'll come back to this next couple weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I think it's hard to pass up on Fields for a 6th, 5th rounder when they could have made that move. But congrats to Jacoby.
Congrats, man. Look, it's a big move. I hope that he is successful wherever he goes, if it has to be New England.
So he's gonna start, or is New England gonna go out and get a quarterback?
I think
they have a high pick in the.
I
Do
think-
they?
they have a pretty decent. It's
They
in
have
the
a
top
good
10.
pick. Yeah, so they might go after one. Let's see who
They
falls.
could
to
trade
them.
up.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Jacoby Brissett if I didn't need to, but I'm glad he's there.
Even with the rookie quarterback,
It's kind of like
you don't
that,
start him.
You know that one pair of sneakers that you always look at in the corner. You're glad you own them, and like. they're
Listen, there's
there.
guys that they can still get. It's not. It may not be a JJ McCarthy, but it could be like a Bo Nix.
I mean, if you get one of those, I think you start Brissett.
Okay.
They have the
Michael
third. They have the
Penix?
third overall pick.
Like a Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
Right now-
one of those guys.
I remember we spoke for our friend Alex. He's a huge Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
He said he wants Jaden Daniels,
Mm.
but it's looking like they're gonna get Drake May.
Oh, there you go too.
They do have the third overall pick.
So there you go.
New
Well, look at
England
that.
does like starting rookie quarterbacks.
Third overall. That's big. So if they go out and get Drake May,
At this point, they're probably like, hey, anything's an upgrade from Mac, whether it be this 31-year-old guy or this be this new guy from college, anything. is
well,
better than
also
Mac
Bill
Jones.
Belichick's not there, man. So
So things might be run a little differently.
exactly.
In New England come this time
They
around.
might decide to draft that quarterback and let him sit for a little bit. Jacoby Brissett's a good vet. What they want to do in New England is play defense anyway, right?
To be honest, Gerard Mayo was in the league at the same time as Jacoby Brissett, because Jacoby Brissett's a little longer. So who knows? Maybe they might have like some sort of networked relationship through their time in the NFL, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they do in New England for sure. I want to get into this guy. Well, we could skip Ryan Tannehill because I don't think he's signed anywhere yet.
No, he hasn't.
So unfortunately, that takes us to Russell Wilson.
Unfortunately.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, we'll talk about the two quarterbacks on this team.
You know
here.
what?
That's a smart move by the Steelers.
Yeah, it's a great move by the Steelers, especially since they already know that Denver is paying them all that money that they're still paying him. I believe he signed a 1 year, $1 million?
1.2.
$1.2 million. And the rest is all coming from Denver. That means hypothetically, I think we said this before. Hypothetically, Denver would basically be paying his check to win a Super Bowl with another team, should that happen. Eesh. Now, a lot of people are saying, I still don't trust Russell Wilson. He's a little bit older. He hasn't shown it in a little while. He didn't play bad in the end of the year, but what's going on?
I'm going to say this. I remember, sorry to interrupt you.
You're not sorry either. Everybody loves interrupting me.
I don't care.
Today.
When the season started last season, we were watching the games. We spoke about Russell Wilson in a nice light. I remember it was probably like a couple weeks in, we were like, can he be a comeback player of the year? Right. He was playing pretty well.
No, he was.
And then, there was
throwing to nobody.
He was throwing to Sutton.
Sutton was hurt.
Judy.
No, it was Sutton.
Judy was hurt too.
Sutton was scoring a touchdown like every week.
And then he got hurt, no?
But I'm saying later on in the season. But I'm saying like to start, like they were hot, and I was like, oh, can he be comeback player of the year? We know what happened. Blah blah. The Steelers, I have to give them so much credit because you went from a year of having Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett to having Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's an amazing upgrade.
I think that Russell Wilson is going to have a good year over there in Pittsburgh. I think that Mike Tomlin is just one of those coaches that demands that kind of respect, and all that little diva stuff that Russell Wilson was known for, I don't think that's going to fly.
Not in Pittsburgh.
That's not going to fly over there. So, which is going to really make Russell just have to buckle down and play football. And, they've got a good, I don't like the fact that they got rid of this guy, though. Deontay? I know we'll talk about it next week.
Deontay Johnson?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I feel like they probably needed to let a player go in order to get to where they are right now.
I think he also wasn't fitting on that team. Like he wasn't the ethic there.
I mean, I kind of liked the skill players that Pittsburgh had for a while.
I know, but like we saw a lot of
being wasted on Kenny Pickett.
Yes,
but we saw a lot of moments of him not trying hard.
Deontay Johnson was the one that was catching those.
I understand.
Wild
He's
one-hand catches, like diving. I remember.
But it does seem like he gave up on that team last year.
I think the team gave up on the team that last year.
I know, but it's still, you're getting paid to play the game. You don't stop playing, giving it all, your all,
So you think that's why they let him
I
walk?
think that's why they have a young.
Well, they traded him is what they did. They traded him for Dante Johnson, cornerback.
Which is crazy. The fact that that's what they
did. They have a young receiver. I guess they're like, we don't want this guy to be his vet. To him to look up to somebody.
Right.
That there's all that locker room stuff always exists.
Yeah.
So just for the record, Justin Fields is getting paid 1 year, $3.2 million by the Steelers, and the trade is if he plays over 51% of the snaps next year, I believe the Bears get a 4th round pick, and if he plays less than 51%, the Bears get a 6th round pick.
I don't think he's gonna play more than 51%.
Yeah,
unless Russell goes down, I don't see that happening.
Exactly. I think that Russell is gonna have a good year, and I think it depends. I think Justin Fields' playing time is gonna depend a lot on how Russell Wilson does. But I do believe in Russ.
So what if they did something like this really quick? Because I was thinking about this. What if they had like a Drew Brees, Taysom Hill kind of setup?
They could, but I just don't see it.
And that's how they get the quote-unquote 51% snaps, because, like, he could literally, like, if they wanted to go for the deep ball, okay, let Russell run the play. And then if they wanted to run for a couple yards, like on some fast with my legs type, then you go and you put in Justin Fields. Even though Russell Wilson has always been known to be a little mobile, he's
older, yeah.
He's a little older. You can't rely on his legs as much. Justin Fields is faster. Justin Fields is taller.
But they've already got like a pretty good backfield though with like Najee Harris and stuff. So
it's a great point, but
Najee Harris and Jalen Warren.
Exactly.
You have to remember the Steelers don't want him to play 51% of the snaps.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to give up a 4th round pick.
They want to, exactly.
So they're gonna look at that and constantly be on top of that and pay attention because they don't want to make that not a mistake, but like just knowing how NFL teams work. You're going to manipulate it in a way where it just doesn't happen.
Justin Fields is a contingency. plan at the end of the day. That's what he's there for, and it's a great one because Justin Fields is a good quarterback.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day,
I mean, a lot of Bears fans are upset.
Exactly. And
I was calling him a bum all last year. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, look who he had. But regardless, I think it's like I said, a great move by the Steelers, and I think that if they can, sign him to they're gonna end up, if I can see them extending Fields, trying to at least. And
now I have to say
move on.
this. I have to say this.
Please do.
Why? I know there's a lot of things that goes on behind doors and locker room stuff. Why couldn't they keep Fields if they traded him to be a backup?
Mm-hmm.
Why not keep him there? Let him start the season as a Bear, and if things don't work out, you have Caleb Williams to fall back on.
Right.
But let him try something that he's shown in the past, but with a full offense now. See what he can do. If it doesn't work out, you have Caleb Williams, a young player to fall back on and see what he's got. Mm-hmm. All right. But now you gave him up for a 6th-round pick. To me, that's not. I'd rather just have him than have a 6th-round pick.
I agree, but
I don't know.
The Bears.
Maybe there's bad blood there, bro. Especially after all the back and forth.
He loved it there, and the fans loved him there. I mean, obviously we don't know everything, but I just can't. I wish that was a reality because that could have worked out.
It could have worked out. We spoke a lot about it, especially when we got into the running back market last week, and how crazy it could have been if they, we already know you were preaching, oh my God, what if they get Marvin Harrison Jr. and they really put this together, this and that. But unfortunately, I feel like I don't know. This is the first time I would say that a free agent market is bogging me out because I don't know what's gonna happen, especially with both of them on a 1 year. What are the Steelers really bubbling up over there?
Probably, I don't know.
Speaking of bubbling up, the next one, I don't really know how it's gonna go into this, but talking about someone that I didn't really think was gonna be on a team next year. You got Jameis Winston.
You didn't think he was gonna be on a team?
We talked about that. I didn't think he was gonna be.
You're
on
crazy.
A team. Not because of his talent, and not because of. I know he's a good locker room presence. I know you already spoke about. Oh, good guy. Whatever.
He is.
That's cool.
Great guy.
Great, but good. Being a good guy doesn't get you paid.
Yeah, but he's still way better than a lot of the options that are backups. If Mason Rudolph is finding a job, so is he.
Word.
Well, the truth is, the only reason I believe that he got a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns for a base value of $4 million and a max value of 8.7, depending on how much he plays, is because Joe Flacco is not there anymore.
Joe Flacco's not there. You still have Deshaun Watson, who hasn't.
Deshaun Watson coming back.
Done much. He's been coming back for 3 years now.
It's not. Well, yeah, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Jameis Winston is a good locker room presence. He is a good, reliable backup, I could say. To be honest with you, he did start a lot last year when Derek Carr was having those injury issues. So he got enough playtime last year to maybe prove it to himself. It's kind of unfortunate that, he ended up on the Browns. To be honest with you, bro, I didn't expect anything different because when someone has a political or otherwise issue in the NFL, where do they usually end up? Cleveland.
Yeah, but he doesn't fit that.
He was that last play that they called the play.
I think you blew that out.
When they were beating that team by 40, I forget what team it was.
Who cares?
And the team, the quote-unquote team decided that he wanted to score that last play just so he could get one. I don't know, man. I feel like not that
the game ends
at
at 0
game
seconds.
Changing, but at the same time, it was it's like a respect thing.
This is the NFL. We talked about this. If they're gonna, why would I expect you to let up just because we suck?
You think that if he didn't do that, he could have been on a different team other than Cleveland?
To me, it's more no. I think either way, I don't think that ruined his picture at all.
I didn't say ruined, but
I don't think that affected it.
He's on Cleveland.
I think that was maybe the best option for him out there right now.
The puzzle pieces were puzzle piecing, PD.
Well, nothing good happens in Cleveland.
Your other boy.
Sorry, Jameis.
Gardner Minshew.
Minshew Mania moves.
2 years,
to
$25 million to the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's a good move.
We all knew that they had some quarterback issues.
Yeah.
And we all know that they have one of the best, if not underused, receivers in the NFL in Devontae Adams. I think that Gardner Minshew made Michael Pittman look like a star.
Superstar.
So imagine what he could do with an already established star at the wide receiver slot. I'm excited to see what they do.
I mean, Gardner to me is like, he's smart in a very simple way. You're a quarterback.
Fundamental football.
You're a quarterback on a team.
With your quarterback.
No, but you're a quarterback on a team that has a star receiver. Let me throw him the ball.
Right.
That'll work, right?
Well, of course, they got rid of Josh Jacobs. It's one less piece that they have.
Like, just like hyper target the star,
Yeah.
and you'll have success. Like, that's.
Just ask Kansas City.
I mean, like, Zach Wilson couldn't do that with Garrett Wilson. I mean, I feel like that could have been.
Well, Gardner Minshew is tremendously better than any quarterback that the Jets have had. That's not even like a conversation.
I guess, yeah. But there's also other examples where they like Levis and a D-Hop. They never formed that hyper connection.
But the games that they did,
it worked. It worked. Exactly. Oh, man. Shouldn't we do this all season? Gardner Minshew's smart at that. He's going to hyper target Devontae Adams. If you're playing fantasy, you should draft him.
That's a good pick, to be honest with you, because Devontae will go up and get it.
Yep.
Speaking of, since we brought up New York and the best quarterback that they've had in a while, the next person I got here on my list, I want to talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
Tyrod Taylor, 2-year deal worth up to $18 million. New York Jets.
I like it.
I don't like
it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it,
bro.
Let me talk about it from an unbiased standpoint.
Please.
Unbiased standpoint.
As I sip my coffee.
Tyrod, as a Giants fan, I saw a lot of Tyrod Taylor.
Yo.
When he's on the field, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He is.
He's pretty good. Now, here's the problem. You're coming into a season with a quarterback that just tore his Achilles.
Correct.
He's 40-something.
Correct.
So I might be scared that he might get hurt again. Maybe that's just me. But I would have a contingency plan. I wouldn't make my
You
backup.
like that.
You
like that.
I've known
your Sports Center say contingency.
You
within
like
a week,
that.
I'm gonna bug out. I promise you.
Now look, as I'm saying,
Right.
if Aaron Rodgers goes down, I'm knocking on wood for you.
Please.
I'd be a little scared of having Tyrod Taylor as a backup.
Of course.
Not because of how he's gonna perform, because he'll do well, but he always gets hurt too.
Listen, I'm going to put it to you like this, PD. I was waiting patiently for you to say what you had to say. The combined age of the quarterbacks on the Jets is 75.
Let's look at what happened to the Giants. You lost Daniel Jones. You had Tyrod Taylor. Lost him.
I don't want to compare the bum on your team right now, respectfully, to Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor. That's cool. And Daniel Jones is great on his legs. I got something I got to get off my chest right now. I don't think that the problem is Tyrod Taylor's skill. Everybody knows he's nice.
Yeah.
He was nice. The only reason that he's not as nice right now is his play style involves his legs, and he's a little older. He's 35, right? That's cool, right? But how is your answer to an older 40-year-old GOAT with leg injuries, a backup that's only 5 years younger with further leg injuries?
You know what's unfortunate too that I picked up on last week? I think one of their best options to have as a backup QB is playing in that same stadium, but on the other team. I think Drew Lock would have been a perfect Jet.
I like that too, but here's the other thing though. I know the Jets will also most likely draft another quarterback come draft.
Not this year.
Yes.
You guys don't have a good pick for that.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't.
It's a really heavy quarterback class.
It's not gonna be, but like I think at that point you're
You
wasting
want to
a
make
pick.
a wager? You want to talk about wagers, right?
You guys are not
bet
taking a
you
quarterback.
Money, we draft a quarterback.
No, we're not.
No, you're not.
No, we're not. We're gonna draft an O lineman.
Yes.
To bolster up our line.
All
just
right,
to
can
make
I bet
sure.
both of you then?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right, how much you want to bet?
Whatever you want.
Oh, I know who you're gonna draft. Brock Bowers, tight end.
Yeah.
100%. I'll bet you.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Brock Bowers to your quarterback.
All right, deal. I can't shake your hand, David, but deal.
Tight end Brock Bowers, right down the dock, David. I got Brock Bowers going to the Jets.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, you know. But I do have a little bit of insider information.
Yeah,
No, I'm just playing. I think that the truth is, according to someone who's going to be an upcoming guest here today, I got a coming soon. My good friend Jeremy also a huge Jets fan, wrote to me yesterday. He said, if they wait until the 5th or 6th round, we'll get Joe Milton or Sam Hartman. And if not, we'll get probably Bo Nix or Jordan Travis.
I think they take Bowers over Knicks.
All right, well, there you go. You already made your bet. It doesn't matter what you think.
No, it doesn't
now.
matter.
It's in the
I
books.
didn't change it.
Written.
I haven't changed it. I said the same thing I said
Stone,
before.
Like the Bible. They came down with lightning.
Well, look. So
It
here.
says Brock Powers on a rock.
Get Brock Powers. You keep Conklin. You know, a little
Yeah.
double tight end set.
Finishing off Tyrod Taylor.
We need
Pause.
some investment for the future, bro.
If you're going to have Tyrod Taylor as a backup, you need a backup for your backup. So I hope they make another move. That's it.
We need another. There's no long term right now.
Get Tommy DeVito.
Ew.
What do you mean, ill?
I don't want the meatballs on my team, bro.
You're crazy.
I don't need a guy in a green suit on my sideline. We got enough green going on over here.
We
bro.
might just keep Zach.
Ugh, God. I said this before.
Maybe with no pressure
I said
at
no,
all.
no. Don't even say if. No.
Mentally, that ship has sailed.
No. Here's the thing with Jets. If you guys keep Zach Wilson,
Yeah.
knowing Jets' luck, you're gonna get to a point
It'll
where he's
land
gonna
on-
start a game.
Yeah, correct.
And then that's where it goes downhill. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, why do we still have this guy? And then there's other Jets fans like, oh, maybe in the right situation. No, that's it. We've seen him enough. He's done. He's not working there at all.
I think he needs to get out of there, respectfully.
He needs to go to the UFL.
But not as a Jets fan, but I think that you could tell, even like when he was interviewed during the year, that he was going through like a lot of mental duress. I feel like New York might not be for him, period.
Send him to Seattle.
Yeah, somewhere like where he could go milk a cow if he felt like it, bro. Send him to like,
Okay.
no, for real. Send him to like, I don't know. What are you looking at? Why do you keep scrolling on my computer like you have a?
Nah, I'm just trying to see what
business
you
over
have.
here?
Let's move on. Let's finish this up.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, jeez. Oh my
right.
God.
All
Rough day. Rough
Anyway.
day. We got Jameis Winston.
We spoke about this guy. Are you with us?
I wanted to see if you were paying attention.
Are you with
looking,
us?
You're looking so heavy on my screen. I had to make sure that you were still with
No,
us.
we were going in order. We were at number 7. You went back to number 5.
I scrolled up for giggles, man. Jesus. Since you were being so intense, I was like, you know what? Whatever. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a deal with the Los Angeles Rams with a base value of $4.5 million, max value of $12 million. He is going to be out with the 2 first games regardless because of a PED suspension. So
Interesting that you can even sign while you're suspended.
yeah, it is, but
Well, that's the
people
NFL.
do that all the time. I'm pretty sure DeAndre Hopkins did that when he first went to the Titans. He had a 6-game suspension. It happens, it's one of those things. I used to really like Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been a really injury-heavy backup, or in general ever since. I don't want to speculate or make my own reasoning, but I do believe that may be what led him to use PEDs, maybe.
Because he sucks?
Not because he sucks, but because he's injury prone.
Yeah.
Keep his body in a overly valued shape, I guess.
I think it's a good backup
It's
option.
a good backup. They don't really have any problems with quarterbacks, except for maybe like when Matt Stafford is injured here and there. Other than that, he's not going to get a lot of play
Would you have
time.
taken him on the Jets?
No.
No. He's cheaper.
We could have gotten him when we got Aaron Rodgers, and I also said no.
I guess, yeah.
When it was Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr, like it wasn't even close from the other two. So
All right, well, to finish off, we have Drew Lock that went to the Giants. I think he necessarily not going to be battling to start because they said Daniel Jones is the starter.
right,
But I think he's a good backup, and I think he'll see playing time.
yeah.
Tyler Huntley to the Cleveland Browns. They're just, putting as many quarterbacks in that place as they can. Good
Yeah.
move. Josh Dobbs to San Fran, another backup. Hopefully he'll see as much playing time as Sam Darnold over there.
Right.
Mason Rudolph to Tennessee. We saw what he did last year. He showed a little greatness in a game or two.
I figured.
And Josh Johnson re-signed to Baltimore.
Little honorable mentions at the end.
Yeah.
Little might as well say their name while we're here.
Yeah,
type
we're
of thing.
here. Might as well say it.
Listen, man, it's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to see how it's gonna go. But on that note, right? Since we're keeping up with where the quarterbacks are gonna be, now's the perfect time for us to go to keeping score. Cue the music. And we're back.
Wow, that was great.
So,
Awesome.
Welcome to Keeping Score, where we keep score on whatever's going on around outside the NFL league. Where we're talking about a little bit of basketball today, a little bit of baseball.
Can I start us off this week?
David, can Petey start us off this week?
I'll allow it.
Yeah, we got some big things going on in baseball right now.
Oh, that's true.
All right, so what are you going to start off with? Because there's something in particular that I want to talk about.
And baseball-wise?
Yeah,
Go.
baseball-wise.
You started then.
All right.
Can't take that away from you.
Let's talk about Ohtani being down terrible over
That's
here.
exactly what I was going to talk about.
Oh,
see, look at that.
my God. Petey, do you have
No.
some detail for us?
I have a little bit of details. I'm just going to go off the dome for a little bit. I know
go.
you haven't heard much about this.
No. I've been waiting to hear it from you.
So, this is going to bring us into the Seoul series going on in Korea right after this. But the Dodgers opened up their season over there. They played a game against the Padres. They won. All right?
Right.
Shohei Ohtani, he's got an interpreter. I don't want to.
What's his name?
I
What's his name? Come on. Mizuhara.
Try it.
Mizuhara.
If I had to try Tunga Vailoa for like 4 weeks,
We're not skipping over names over
I
here, guys.
can't. I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
Like Don would say, why are
me
we
see.
struggling?
let me see really quick.
Want to try that one?
Let's see.
Ipe Mizura.
Ipe Mizura.
Ipe Mizuhara, sorry.
Ipe.
Okay, Mizuhara. He's his longtime interpreter, but like,
First time caller, long time listener.
no, he's interpreter.
Oh, okay,
He
sorry.
interprets for him. All right. So whenever there's an interview, they speak to Shohei, and then this guy translates. He's a translator, right?
Right.
And then he speaks back. But he does so much more than that because he's like Ohtani's right hand man.
With him all the time.
He came with him from
His boy.
Japan. That's his boy. It's like imagine if you signed a big contract in a different country and I go with you because I can speak a language and help you out.
I would tell everybody I didn't speak English, so I wouldn't have to talk to anybody. You would have to talk to everybody.
But he lives with him basically. He eats with him daily. He works out with him. This is like his guy.
Puts
He
him to sleep.
he spends more time with this guy than his wife.
Oh, okay. Hey,
100%.
the newly
Right?
the newly discovered wife that nobody knew
Exactly.
about like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So it comes out after their first game that the Dodgers fired him. And everybody's like, well, why would they fire him? And then it comes out that he was gambling and in $4 million of debt and was accused of stealing money from Shohei's bank account.
That is crazy.
Now, this is where things get dicey.
Be your own.
And be your own.
Well, hold on,
Yeah.
real quick. So the story was originally that Ohtani knowingly paid off the gambling debts, and then Mizuhara changed it and said that Ohtani didn't know anything about it.
So that's where the MLB is investigating now.
Right.
So we don't know the exact details. Those are just like two stories that we've heard. Is Mizuhara taking a fall for him? Like, this is kind of a big deal because this is like I said to you before, imagine if...
What was he gambling on, though?
We don't know yet. That's what the investigation is.
They
So-
were saying,
Yeah.
from what I heard, they were saying that it was like different sports,
So if
right?
it's
Not baseball, but however,
So why does it matter, though?
but however,
illegal bookie.
Yeah, the illegal bookie is already shady. And then think about it like this: you're gonna tell me that you're not gonna bet on the sport that you know the most,
Right.
so you're gonna bet on everything else. You're gonna bet on everything else,
No,
soccer,
this is
tennis,
also-
whatever.
This is also a guy that's with Ohtani all the time inside the inner circle of baseball.
Exactly my
He
point.
knows the scouting reports, what's going on.
Insider information.
Insider information. So if
Exactly.
he's betting on baseball, that's a problem in itself. All right, that's a huge deal. Former Ohtani teammates have already come out and said, I'm very shocked by this. I don't think Ohtani was involved because when you talk to the guy, he knows nothing about basketball, football. He doesn't pay attention to outside sports. He's just all baseball all the time. So,
It probably was that guy then, bro.
but now, what's the extent of Shohei knowing about it and actually paying for him? That's also a big deal. That's an issue.
Yo, this guy was doing him dirty. Like, he'd be like, Ohtani would ask the translator, like, oh, I really need to use the bathroom. And he'd, like, translate for him. He's like, oh, he said he wants to put it all on black. All right, cool. Bam.
I saw a
Like,
joke.
all right, the bathroom's that way. Thank you so much. Let it roll.
I saw a joke on Twitter where somebody said, "What if he's been trying to tell us this whole time in the interviews?" And he's like, "So Shohei Ohtani, what do we think about this past game?" And Shohei's like, "Help me, this guy's stealing my money and placing it on bets." And then the interpreter's like, Oh, he said he loves it here.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That'd be crazy.
Look, talk about a language barrier. We're always in our conversations trying to have whatever about a language barrier. That's honestly probably one of the main ways that whoever got away with this for so long.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a big deal. I compared it to, like, imagine if LeBron at the time in his peak, he just joined the Heat. The big three has been assembled.
Right.
One game in, this comes out about LeBron. Imagine that situation. You have the face of the NBA at his prime, biggest team that he's been on.
So Ohtani's the face of the MLB.
He is the face of the MLB right now. The MLB, when you think of the MLB for a casual, they think of Ohtani.
Yeah,
it's true.
Even
You said we called him a casual for a casual.
well, a casual fan, you asked about
right,
MLB, the big name is Ohtani.
he's right.
And I think
He
it's
just gave him a logo in New Balance.
it's a scary situation. So I mean, we're gonna see what more comes out of this. We just heard about this a couple days ago.
It's gonna get blamed on that guy.
So
and Ohtani's gonna be
so this is the thing though, because the FBI is investigating it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to also, because the MLB has to do their own investigation too. Now this is where it gets tricky, because if the MLB in any way shows that it's not like in lockstep with you know what I mean, like if MLB is like, oh, we didn't find anything, and the FBI is like, oh, we found all of this, you know what I mean? That's a big thing too. So the MLB really does have to be extremely careful on how they do this, because betting in the MLB is like, you know, you see what happened to Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, he's one of the best to ever do it. He bet, and now he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. So, you know, that'll be
Really?
So this entire thing is going to be something to watch, because like I said, this has a lot of implications to it, and this is big time, man. Like, so, and the MLB has to be in lockstep with the FBI, because the FBI is doing their own thing, and they have no, you know what I mean? There's a lot of money and stuff like that, but the FBI is one of those agencies that is like, we don't care about your money. You know what I mean? We're gonna dive into this as we do. So,
Pete, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So as the one that knows the most about baseball, right? What is worst case scenario?
I'm gonna tell you that right now. Worst case scenario is if Ohtani knowingly placed a bet himself or bets.
Right.
If they find that in the investigation, I think he's going to get charged with some kind of crime and then probably suspended and maybe banned from baseball.
Banned from baseball in total.
Yeah.
What happens to his contract?
definitely.
That's it. It's like doesn't
Null and void.
terminated, voided.
That would be
Now there's the other scenario where if Ohtani did not place the bets himself, that's a whole nother issue. Let's say he was telling the guy to place a bet for him. I just don't see that as a possibility. Or then there's another case scenario if Ohtani was sending transfers for this guy, not knowing where it was going. Like, oh, the guy's like, oh, send this to me. I need to cover money. And then he sends it. There's so many different scenarios that could happen with so many different. I think the best case scenario.
With sports betting, since a lot of it is cash, so you just take it out and there's no paper trail.
Well, the thing was they were wiring money, and it was coming out of his name. So that's the problem here. So
yeah, you can't wire money without like a whole bunch of like, you know what I mean, documentation. Like the banks call you, like, you know what I mean, like.
I understand
it's
that.
a whole
but
thing.
I guess what I'm saying is, you know, all right, so you wire someone money, right? Now they have the money. In order to place a lot of those wagers, especially with an illegal bookie, is cash. So once it goes into that wire transfer, there's no way to follow it after that.
no, they'll find it. They're already investigating the bookie and everything.
So now this is real quick. Now you're saying like they'll find it. Do you believe, because again, what I was saying about the MLB doing an investigation in the FBI, right? Do you believe that if this was a different player that wasn't the face, that maybe was disliked, that the MLB would be going a lot harder?
I think they're already going very hard on it, but
So you don't think if it was like
well,
A-Rod, Aaron Rodriguez,
A-Rod's a big name.
so you don't think if it was somebody like who wasn't very liked though in the league,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But you know what I'm trying to say, like if
Trevor
it was
Bauer when he was
something
playing.
like, yeah, something like that, like somebody who's not very liked. Do you think that they would go harder in the investigation? Because right now, it's, you know, everybody's kind of keeping shut, and everybody, you know, so I feel like why aren't they in there taking the guy's computer and doing a real investigation?
They're gonna do all that. They're going full investigation right now.
Well, look, I hope it's not worst case scenario. You know, I would like to see some more Ohtani down the road. I hope it's not as bad as it could be, and I hope that he finds his way back. So,
We'll see.
Well, I do want to hear a little more about this Soul series.
Now, the Soul series, I think it was a great concept, but heavily botched. All right?
Why is that?
So we have...
Can you break it down for
Yeah,
the people
this is...
that don't know, like me?
This is the first... how do I say this? The first opening day game of the season. So
Right.
regular season is their first series. Dodgers versus Padres. They're playing in Korea.
Right.
Korea loves baseball. This is a great place to start a season when it's not in the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the weird thing to me about it is that I think the casual fan, let's say someone like you didn't even know this was going on.
Correct.
You didn't know, they even started the season in a different country.
Correct.
I think this was a great opportunity to promote this and heavily just advertise it everywhere. And then they also did it in a weird manner where it was like right in between spring training. So they played regular season games, right?
So that counts as a regular
That
season
counts
game.
for their record this year. Then they're coming back, and all the teams are still playing spring season games.
That is kind of weird.
So it's a
don't you
weird.
think?
It's not like
It kind of sets them up for failure almost.
It's
Because if you're looking at it that way, spring training is supposed to prepare you for the actual season. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not fully prepared and you jump into a regular season game and then you got to go back to
more
you know,
preseason.
limited motion, you know what
It's
I mean?
very, very weird how they went about it. Don't know how I feel. I think they could have done a way better job promoting it. I don't know. It was botched.
Do
And
you
now,
think they're gonna do it like that again next year?
if they do, I hope they do it a lot better.
All right. Well, either way, it is a good opportunity for people in Korea to see some of the players.
See some MLB talent. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
you
good
know.
Korean players on the pod. There's a what's his name? There's a good Korean player on the Padres. I can't remember his name right now.
But it opens the market regardless.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing, and it takes people in Korea that might not follow us heavily. Now they get to watch a regular season game, and then they have a little time to anticipate. Okay, so when the season really starts, now I'm really gonna watch it because. So either way, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
If it's weird, fine, but it's a good thing, especially for South Korea.
Other than that, we had 2 signings that happened this past couple of days.
Okay.
JD Martinez has signed to the Mets.
Your boy.
He's not my boy, but
Well, he has to be your boy.
this is
now
my
he's
boy
a Met.
now. He's my boy now.
You know,
This is a good move.
it's like when friend groups come together and you got to be cool with that one guy that's cool with your people.
Yeah. This is a nice power bat we're getting. He's towards the end of his career. He's like 36. 1 year, $12 million.
Is it worth it?
It's worth it for this team. Where right now we're in an in-between of making the playoffs, not making it. Right now we're kind of like, you got to see how they perform. They're kind of saving all their money and moves for next year. They're like, right now we're just like an in-between stage. We're just going to field a team that can compete and see where it goes, right?
How does his position fit on the Mets?
He's going to be a DH. So he's just going to hit.
Oh, so he's just there for the runs.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the hits, that's all. He's not going to field.
Nothing but the hits. Nothing but the hits. Nothing
We-
but the hits.
We had another young player, Mark Vientos. He's young, just a good bat, but he's young. He hasn't proved it.
What position is he?
Also DH.
Oh, okay.
Naturally a third baseman, but he doesn't field very well. So they're like, we're going to give him this spring training to kind of prove himself.
It's not that natural then, I guess.
When he was in the minor leagues, he was killing it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
And then he just couldn't evolve.
He just
into the
can't
leagues?
make that transition smoothly, you know?
Right.
So this spring, we're like, we'll give him the at-bats. We'll see what he does. He's done all right, but he hasn't taken the job. You know, he hasn't done enough to be like, this is mine.
Right.
So they got to the point where, like, where we have a good offer for Martinez. We're going to take it. And they signed him. I think he's going to be a great bat in that lineup. He's going to have some protection for Pete Alonso now.
Right.
He's going to be batting third. You have this guy right behind him, so it's going to fit perfectly. So the lineup looks a lot longer. It's going to play a lot better. And I'm excited to see what
You're
happens.
allowed to have more than one DH on your team.
No,
right?
just one.
Oh, so that means that with JD Martinez, they got to drop this other guy.
He's going to be either in a bench role or send him back to the minors to kind of work on his craft.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Unfortunate to hear for that situation, but I'm glad that there's a piece coming together that's working for the Mets right now.
Well, on the other side of the country,
Talk about it. Oh my God.
take a plane all the way
Jesus.
3,000 miles away.
Life is a highway. I'm gonna ride it all night long.
You got Blake Snell to the San Francisco Giants. This is a good move.
Another good name on the list today. I gotta tell you, Blake Woodrow. It's all okay. I'm sorry, my head's elsewhere. Please, Blake Snell.
Blake Snell, funny guy.
Who was Blake Snell?
Pitcher, left-handed pitcher, played for the Padres. Multiple Cy Young Award winner, but he's a very interesting player.
Okay.
Because when he's good and playing, he's good.
Right.
But when he's not, he doesn't pitch a lot. He doesn't get deep into games. He doesn't pitch a lot of innings, and that's kind of his kryptonite.
Is he at the end of his career?
He's not. He's still 31.
Okay.
So he's not.
Pitcher usually goes into what? The oldest, right?
Yeah,
of all the positions.
Yeah. Depends. You have those players that go until they're 40.
Do you think that he would be one of those players,
No.
since that this is his weakness, like you say, he doesn't go deep.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be one of those players.
Career.
But when he's on the field, he's a good player. He could be the best pitcher in the game at points. So
when healthy.
So because of this, a lot of teams didn't want to offer him a long-term contract. He also has this agent Boris that we've talked about.
Shout out Boris,
who seeks these long-term the biggest deals that he can get.
Yeah.
So because of both of them working together, it kind of a lot of teams are we don't want it. He's looking for this number. The Yankees offered him that number. They couldn't come to an agreement. Done. So he wanted 5, 6 years. It was not happening. He ended up on a 2-year deal to the Giants with an opt-out after this year. So if he takes his $33 million after this year, he can go right back to free agency and try again.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of a good prove-it deal the Giants have made. The Giants tried to get Ohtani. They made a hard push for him. Fell short. So they've made so many little moves as a team. They got Soler. They got a player out of Korea, actually, a center fielder, who's looking like he's going to be a good player. You have, I think, Jordan Hicks. You have so many little signings that altogether might be better for them than getting Ohtani.
I agree. I like it, man. To be honest, now, with everything said and done, the Giants are probably oh, thank God Ohtani's not doing this here, man. Oh,
I mean, I'm sure they still would take him.
I'll make all the little moves I need to. I just don't want to deal with that. The Dodgers are a big organization as well, so
I'm sure they're a little worried.
I'm sure they're also worried because that's a lot of media attention in general. In Los Angeles? Come on, bro. It's hard, so.
Well, the Giants are in a tough I don't know. I can't find the word, but they're
well-rounded.
No, they're the teams in their division. Division. The teams in their division. They have the Dodgers in there in their division.
Yeah.
The Padres. You have the Diamondbacks. You have a lot of good teams there that they're gonna have to compete with, and I do think they can make the playoffs. Where everything goes right.
All right. Well, look, that's the most baseball news I think we've ever had on Keeping Score. Thanks for the intro into what's really going on.
You're welcome.
And now to David with basketball. David?
Hey, so what's going on? So a couple things going around in the league. So the NBA is actually going to be ending the G League Ignite. The G League Ignite was a team essentially assembled in 2020 as an alternate path to the NBA for graduating high school seniors and offered players paychecks and a chance to compete against professional competition. This was another way for for people to kids coming out of, like I said, high school, another route for them to get into the game, right? So there's college, there was overseas, and now there was the G League Ignite. A lot of times the G League was for players who got undrafted, right, you would say, or players that got drafted and still needed some time to develop. That's what the G League was originally for. Then they added the Ignite as an alternate route, but they're looking to get it away because of the NIL deals that are going on in the NCAA right now. Is basically completely shifted the climate,
right?
And that's essentially so what they're saying is the decision to end the program comes amid the changing basketball landscape, including the NCAA's name, image, and likeness policy, and the advent of collectives in the transfer portal, the league stated in a press release on Thursday. So there are some big names that came from the G League Ignite. Jalen Green and Scoot Henderson probably being the biggest ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Marjan Beauchamp is another guy. Another good name.
Amazing name.
Marjan.
I'm enjoying all these names.
That plays for the Bucks. So that's another guy who came in with the G League Ignite. So it's gonna be different, man. I really like the Ignite. I thought it was a good way because college is for everybody. Some of these kids, still are very good, and there's like another opportunity for them. So taking away, kind of sucks,
Right.
but it just shows how much of a wide reach this whole NIL thing has.
Yeah. So just to break it down for as we spoke before, the casual fan that doesn't really understand maybe some terminology or what have you, the reason that the Ignite was working so well before, prior to NIL being, colleges pay you to play for them in college sports, was that instead of going to school and having to pursue a college education in order to get recognized and go and play professionally, you were able to then go into this league where if you didn't want to go to school, you were still getting paid, and that's how you got recognized enough to make it in the professional career of basketball. So now that you are able to get paid as a player in college, it kind of removes the necessity of an external league that is paying people that didn't want to go to school because they wanted to make money. Now you have that opportunity already in school, so it kind of just eliminated itself altogether, which is unfortunate, like you said. I'm glad that you emphasized that there are some people that didn't want to take the college route. The truth is, as grown men that stand on their 10 toes every day, you know when school is or isn't for you, right? And maybe this is a way to enforce or like implement like more of a need for people to go to school. Do you think that that's why?
Well, see, this is the part that I don't like it, because you may be incredibly talented, right? But because of certain grades or something like that, you may not be able to go to a D1.
Right.
So you may not be able to get the NIL deal, because mostly all these kids have NIL deals now.
Right.
Even if they're like small, like a couple thousand or whatever, they're still there. However, though, because of certain, you have to, for a lot of these top schools, unless you're like a ridiculous top prospect,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, other things have to match, grades for a lot of the times and things like that. So if you don't have that, but you're extremely talented, the Ignite was somewhere that you could go. So now, I'm not quite sure how this is gonna play out. I think that it was something that it was building. Like, you saw more and more NBA ready type kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, going into the Ignite. I just named 3 of them that are in the NBA right now starting. So
yeah, it's not like they're nobodies. It's not like people that are floating on a bench or something like that. Like, these are well groomed, like
exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure I think Asur and Amen Thompson played for the Ignite too, and then got drafted. And now look at them.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that it's good for the league to give people all types of opportunity to make it, because trust me, there's plenty of undrafted players that are in this league balling, and
100%.
They might not get the opportunity going to a smaller school, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not the commissioner, so
right.
There's nothing I can really do about it. I mean, it's sad to see it go.
It's sad to see it go,
but hey, what are you gonna do? I mean, as long as the NBA, if there's one thing that I can say, is that the NBA is not inept of talent. So there's a bunch of talent that's coming in, every year. So as long as that doesn't falter, which I don't think that it ultimately will, I think it'll be fine.
I don't think it will either, but I think it's interesting that this is happening, because we were just having the conversation a couple episodes ago about how Nick Saban felt about NILs and how he felt it was ruining both professional and college sports. So
right.
It's interesting to see how that's not only affecting football, but it's affecting basketball in its own way as well, which is which is definitely something worthy of worthy. Every time I'm talking about keeping score, I start slurring my words. It's worthy of noting.
It's noteworthy. It's noteworthy.
It's noteworthy.
That's what
Correct.
you would say. Something else that's a little noteworthy, not as important, but Isaiah Thomas.
No, I'll clap for that one.
Isaiah Thomas is back in the league. We'll get a clap real quick.
Look, we gotta notice when milestones in Cody's corner come and go, right?
Right.
Our one and only caller that called to talk to us about sports asked why Isaiah Thomas was no longer in the NBA. So you know what? He is now, and I feel as though we were part of the reason that took place.
I would agree.
You know, were people talking about Isaiah Thomas before us? No. And now we were. And where is he? In Phoenix.
Look at him.
Balling.
Well, but he's there.
He's there, yeah.
He's got a jersey and he's
number.
there for at least for the 10-day because they did just give him a 10-day contract.
Right.
I think it's cool. I mean, Isaiah Thomas was a good player. Obviously, listen, he has deficiencies. There are things that
He's short.
right. He's shorter, you know, with the defense and stuff like that. But Phoenix could use some scoring, and Phoenix has a tendency, especially this year, to catch, you know, some oddballs. Like, look at their bench. You know, they got Bol, Eric Gordon, guys who, like, you know, move around in the league a little bit, are known for little things. So, you know, maybe it'll fit. We'll see.
I hope it does.
I hope it does too. I hope that he can finish out the season. I would even like to see him get into the playoffs. You know, like,
that'd be interesting.
It'd be cool. Why not?
If they would like re-sign him after the 10-day, let him go into a little post.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. To be honest with you, maybe we'll speak it right here, right now. The same way that we asked for him to be in the NBA. I want to see Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs.
We want to see Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs. That's what we want.
If he gets to the playoffs, I'll buy his jersey.
Well,
I will, just because. Fun fact. I don't know if I ever told you this. So, you already know I have some NBA jerseys, whatever, like here and there. I got, like, the GOATs. I got a Jordan one. I got a Kobe one, you know what I mean? And I remember my favorite number all my life was always 17, right? So then I remember I said to myself, who wears number 17, right? So I'm looking through jerseys. I'm like, I want to find a fire 17 just so I have it, you know what I mean? So it's in the vault, whatever. And it just so happened that year I decided that I thought one of the swaggiest players in the NBA was PJ Tucker.
Okay.
Right? So I went and got myself a PJ Tucker Milwaukee jersey when he played for Milwaukee.
Okay.
Swear to God, it's in my drawers right now. I'm not lying to you.
Now.
I'll pull it out later. That was the year the Bucks won the chip.
That is true.
And it wasn't because, like, I bought it, like, I don't know if it was before the NBA season or, like, it was really early. Like, I had no idea that they were going to go on that run. And then they won the chip the year that I bought a Bucks jersey. So that's a chip jersey.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, it's not like things happen when we talk about them.
Right.
But it's like someone around here knows what's best for what's going on in the NBA, for sure.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounded like, yeah. So if I get an Isaiah Thomas jersey, watch out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, so with that being said, there's not too much other news going on. Right now, it's March Madness, so there's a lot of college basketball going on. If you're not tuned in, tune in. It's exciting. Nobody's bracket is still up. I think there's like one perfect bracket.
I saw that.
I will give up to Bijan, though. I think he lasted like 2 days.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson,
Shout
right?
out to Bijan.
What does he know? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Hey, maybe he's been talking to Ohtani. Oh,
hey,
chill.
maybe that's why Kirk Cousins know. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know.
And that's another tampering investigation.
Hey, now.
Yo, there's, my God.
Let's not.
We're not putting that in the air. Come on, let's keep it with the Isaiah Thomas energy.
This is crazy.
People know what's going on, man.
People
I don't know
what's going on, man.
I think it's crazy that there's none left.
Well, dude, I mean, listen, my bracket listen, Michigan broke my bracket day one. So, I mean, it is what it is. Big ups to Michigan, too, man, because Tom Izzo never really has any star players. Right? And they're always in the tournament, man. They're always there. They're always there, dude. That guy's good. He's got a system over there. He knows what he's doing. But let's transition to the NBA. Couple games. Everybody this is like I think there's like 12 games left in the season,
which is crazy. The season's flying.
So with that being said, a lot of these games are ramped up, man. A lot of these guys, there's some teams that have their playoff positions pretty set, and then there's some teams that are still fighting for it. So with that being said, a couple games on the radar. I'm not gonna get too crazy into it. Today's Saturday, so it's tomorrow. There's a couple games tonight, but you guys probably won't hear it. But either way, Sunday we'll go. I like Indiana and Los Angeles. LA Lakers won last night. Big game. 76ers were out Joel Embiid though, so
right.
I mean, but at this day, I'll take it as it is. The Lakers are, I believe, 6 games over 500, so it keeps us in that 9-10 spot in the play-in. We just need a chance. I like Golden State and Minnesota that day. I like Oklahoma City and Milwaukee that day too.
That's a good game too, man.
It's a good game. So,
come on, bro.
So tomorrow's gonna be a good day for some basketball. So if you're watching college basketball today, some NBA action tomorrow will be nice too. Monday we got some games going on. I'm liking Memphis and Denver. I like Dallas and Utah. And I like Indiana and Clippers. Looks like Indiana's gonna be in town for 2 days over there in Cali. So that should be fun.
Yeah. Always fun when they're playing.
Right. Tuesday, we've got Golden State and Miami. That's always fun. I like this Lakers and Milwaukee, too. That's good. Both of them, Milwaukee's not as good as people predicted, man.
Of course, yeah.
They're not,
they're not that super team that people
They're not. People expected Dame Lillard to come and then to just, like, really make that run. But it's, the East isn't as easy as they thought, and they're just not as good. I'm not quite sure what it is that's going on over there because, again, you've got Giannis and Dame, so you should be pretty solid, know?
Do you think it has to do with both of them being ball-dominant players, like they need the ball in their hand?
I mean, listen, Damian Lillard had 12 assists the other night. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's a defensive thing. I don't think that they're all that good defensively. You got Giannis, who's a good defender, and then, Brook Lopez, like, they call him a paint protector, but he plays outside a lot. So if you think about it, he's not really getting too many rebounds. And then the way the league is set up, if your center can shoot, my center can shoot too. So that kind of keeps him out of the paint, and he's not very good at the perimeter. So their defense is kind of shoddy. I think when they got rid of Drew Holiday, it really changed up the dynamic of the team.
Yeah, he really was a strong defensive presence all in all. And you could still see all that going on in Boston right now. He's killing it over there, especially with the fact that I feel like for a long time Boston's run had to do with the defensive presence of Marcus Smart, especially like when he won the defensive player in the year, this and that. So the fact that he was able to transition into Boston so smoothly, Drew Holiday I'm referring to.
Yep.
It shows that they know what they need out of a point where I guess they were assuming they were going to get that same power out of Dame, where he's more of a scorer than anything.
Yeah, Dame's more of a scorer. He's not really. I don't want to say he's a liability on defense, but he's nowhere near the defender of a Drew Holiday or even a Marcus Smart for that matter.
Correct.
So he's not even a Derek White, as good as a defender as Derek White, who's over there in Boston too. So
then that's saying something.
That is saying something. So.
Also, side note, Derek White got way better once he shaved his head bald.
I mean, Derek White was always a good player, honestly, but it was definitely time for him to let that go.
Yeah, he had to.
For sure.
It was looking like a toupee for a little bit.
Yeah. Tuesday's actually got some pretty good games. Oklahoma City and the Pelicans. The Pelicans are without Brandon Ingram. He got hurt the other night, so
wow.
Big ups to him. That's a big piece for them.
You saw that crazy dunk by Zion this week?
Oh yeah.
Oh my!
Did you see the crazy dunk by Anthony Edwards? Like, come on,
no,
dude.
well, yeah, that too. We got to speak about a little bit on that last week about how
man.
he dislocated his finger. No, but that Zion dunk, that way that they threw the alley so far from the net, and he oh my god, that was like a monster dunk.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you though. Anthony Edwards over John Collins though. He gave John Collins a concussion on that. He dunked on old boy.
He gave him a concussion?
Dunked on boy.
No.
He literally had a contusion, I think it said on his head or something like that. Crazy. But and then Dallas and Sacramento that same night. We'll go Wednesday. I like Phoenix and Denver.
Okay.
I like Golden State and Orlando. I really like what Orlando's doing over there with that young team, man. They're playing some good basketball over there. They're gonna be nice in a couple years.
Paolo.
Yeah, Paolo Banchero. They're gonna be nice in a couple years, man.
People keep saying he's like one of the last top 5 picks that gets the less credit.
Yeah, man, he's
whatever.
balling over there. He's averaging like 20 points, 5, 6 assists, like, you know what I'm saying, 6, 7 rebounds. He's hooping over there.
That's what's up.
Hooping. And he's a decent defender, and you can't guard that guy on the block. He's big, man. Like, you know, like he's a big dude. Like he's like burly, if you want to talk about it. But
That's a word that makes me think of a bear. So
right.
That's like, I don't know, man. That's a bold thing to say.
Yeah. Then we go to Thursday. Only 2 games there. I would say Milwaukee and New Orleans is one to watch. Boston and Atlanta, that's gonna be a blowout. So don't even worry about that. Friday the 29th, which is Good Friday for anybody who's religious.
Donate meat.
Los Angeles, Indiana again, like that one. I like Phoenix and Oklahoma City.
Yo.
I like Minnesota and Denver. And I like Dallas and Sacramento. And then we'll cap it off with Saturday, a week from today, the 30th. Only 3 games scheduled so far. I'm liking Boston and New Orleans that game. And you know what? Milwaukee and Atlanta should be a good game too, just because of the fact that I'm interested to see what Milwaukee can do against a lesser tier team like Atlanta. Even though, oddly enough, I feel like Atlanta plays better without Trae Young.
That's not the first time that you've said that on the show.
It's weird because I'm watching the games. Mind you, why am I watching Atlanta games? Again, I'm a psychopath.
Right.
Don't ask, right? But I just see like DeJounte Murray and Trae Young don't work that well together for me in the backcourt.
And DeJounte Murray is great.
And DeJounte Murray is a very good player. So I think there might be some moves happening in the offseason with Atlanta. So just keep that in mind.
Did you see that statistic last week? That was like in Trae Young's career, he has made 1,021 floaters and 0 dunks.
Hey now.
And so they had a like quote tweeted of him, and it just said, "Kids, a bucket to bucket."
No, that's exactly what a bucket to bucket.
A bucket to bucket. Points
bucket
is
to
points. Whether I yammed it, whether I got it in, I got it in. So.
Hey, listen, you know what I mean? So
I actually, since you're capping it off, I got some live Jets news. If you don't mind me just sprinkling this.
Of course not.
You know, for those that didn't really notice, Petey had to scurry out the room. He had somewhere else to be after we got on Keeping Score basketball. And I'm glad that he's not here so me and David could talk a little New York Jets talk really quick.
Let's get it.
The Jets seem like the most secure team to pursue Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, yeah. Jadeveon Clowney went to come visit this week. So
He went to visit this week. Apparently, there's 3 teams on his list, but he's confirmed that the Jets are the most likely to sign him after having 9.5 sacks last year with Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I know we just gave up
Bryce Huff.
To the Eagles.
Yup.
So, look, that's someone else to put on our line. Someone else.
Hey, now.
I don't want to burst the NBA bubble.
No. There's no bubble being burst over here, man.
But I gotta say that was something that I wasn't expecting because I thought we were kind of losing some defensive pieces in order to accumulate a little more offensive.
Listen, man, there is something that I said outside the camera that was in the notes, and I'm gonna throw it on right now.
Okay.
The Jets just very well may be Super Bowl contenders. All right.
Look, we could, and when we talking to these mics, things happen. So
Listen.
Forget Isaiah Thomas for a second. The Jets are here to play. I still think they're gonna get a quarterback, but right now they got 2 old quarterbacks out of 1 year that both know what they're doing. Lock down a couple receivers. We'll talk about that next week. Mike Williams. Got Garrett Wilson, got Breece Hall fully healthy the whole year. We lost that bum in what was Dalvin Cook, and now we got some defensive pieces rolling again. But you have to mention the offensive line, the pieces that we picked up. Tyron Smith.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro. Cowboy.
Come
now
on
made
now.
a Jet.
Listen,
One of the best left tackles in football.
Yo,
period.
his stats are like ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
his
dude.
like what he allows is like the percentage is so low, it's ridiculous. And I want to say something about the offensive line real quick too. Bakhtiari is a free agent. So not saying that he'll start or anything like that, but I think that that's another piece that we should go out and get.
We could.
Rodgers' boy, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
They have history together. He's not gonna be asking for a whole lot of money, and it bolsters up our line, because if there's anything that we need, is to make sure that that line is intact. Because if we keep this guy healthy, we keep him upright, it's gonna be a problem.
So this is what makes me nervous, right? And I'm gonna say this now, and then
Yeah.
we'll end the show.
Right.
But as far as putting all these pieces together like the Avengers, right? Something about it makes me nervous, because the last time that one of my teams went out and got all these players that were very well with each other chemistry-wise was the Lakers.
Oh my goodness.
When they had LeBron and Melo and Westbrook and
But that is a completely, I understand, that is a completely different story, because you got those guys at the point end of their career. That was just like on some last ditch effort, like let's bring some names. That's nowhere near this. We've got some studs.
Yo.
All right, we've got some studs on both sides of the ball.
Some might say that they're so big of studs that it makes them big names
Hey now.
without being the big name.
Hey now.
Garrett Wilson,
Come on.
Reese Hall,
Come on.
Tyler Conklin.
Come on.
Come on, bro. We got man, the ball's rolling.
I actually
man.
think that this guy Alan Lazard might have a better year too, now that he's not going to be dependent on so much.
Right.
So we got a core, man. We got a core.
Listen, I'm not gonna say that I trust Alan Lazard, because even with Zach Wilson being Zach Wilson last year, I did see Alan Lazard drop a lot of passes last year.
Right.
If we're being for real.
Right.
But like you said, maybe with a little more faith, a little more chemistry built between Lazard and Rodgers rather than Lazard and Wilson.
And also not being called on for like big plays and stuff like that. Lazard was good at that. Lazard was one of those,
Like
to
a
me,
quick route.
To me, he was when he was playing with Rodgers in Green Bay. To me, he was one of those receivers that wasn't like the top guy, but would make that play here and there down the field and stuff like that, because the defense was focused, elsewhere. So I don't know. I see big things. I'm excited. We can end it there. You know what I mean? So if you don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good to go. Like I said in the beginning, look out for our episodes coming out on Tuesday now, with the video coming out on Wednesday instead of the usual, I should say, Sunday. Everything's moving good. Everything's looking great. Shiny future for the Jets, as well as anything going on with the Lakers.
Shiny future for us here at Cody's Corner too.
Yeah,
man.
for real, man. Things are on the horizon, and we're ready to see them. So, obviously, Petey was ready to get out of here. Maybe we should get out of here too, right? So,
I think it's about that time.
on that note, thanks for watching. Next week, we're gonna talk about the receivers and their free agent market. And as always, I'll see you.
How's it?
Give it to me, give it to me.